Okay, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about elastic choice. I thought while I'm here in the cold, I'll shoot a few more videos and I wanted to talk about elastics going through winter and into spring. So I keep it dead simple. I don't like to have a really long range of elastics. I like to have a few for each time of the year. I've used loads over the years. I've chopped and changed from like solid elastics to different hollows, and I've kind of settled on a few that I just think work really well. Lots of top hangers use them, and it's obviously hydro elastic. I have 3 different types. I have yellow hydro, pink hydro, and orange hydro. So I'll talk you through which I use and when, but when it's really cold like it is today, it's absolutely freezing, my hands are gonna fall off, I like to use yellow hydro. Now the reason for that is it's dead soft, and I don't really have any issues with it freezing up, so I wouldn't worry about that. If you leave it stretched out, if you leave it stretched out like that overnight and it's in the cold, it might sort of like be a bit thingy, but like as long as you just keep it relaxed, you'll have no problems. I like to use this when it's dead cold, the fish are dead like floppy and they're not really fighting, you know, like you know them days, but it's when it's frozen over, or just when it's cold in general, the fish aren't going to do you in any snags. I'll tend to use like yellow hydro when I'm sort of fishing pegs where I know the fish aren't going to snag me, I know they're not going to run me into any aerators or anything like that. That's when I'll choose this elastic. When you strike, you'll get like a good meter come out. It's not dead soft. I wouldn't fish it through a long kit personally, because I think I've used it for a short kit and you get more than enough come out. I think if you try and push your luck, if you hook a carp, your elastic will be like 50 meters down the road, and no one wants that. Even in winter, there's no need to go stupidly light. But yeah, that's it. That's yellow hydro, nice and simple. I would use it for silvers as well, maybe through a long kit. But for F1s and odd carp in winter, this is like the perfect elastic for a short kit. I just use an F1 speed kit. But if you draw a peg, like if you're lucky enough like me, to draw a peg like 2 Spey, which I drew earlier this year, which has a platform that you need to fish to, has quite a lot of carp in that peg, and it has an aerator, I'd probably go for more like a pink hydro. The reason for that is it's a bit stronger. It's still dead soft, so I wouldn't expect to bump anything. I'd still fish 010 bottoms easily. I'd fish like size 20 hooks, 18 hooks, F1 pellets, you know, dead soft stuff like, but it has a bit more backbone, so when you hook fish, you can just guide them out your swim. I mean, even on this elastic, when I was on 2 Spey, I wish I'd probably use an orange, to be honest, because every time I hooked a fish, you're right next to the aerator rope, so they go straight under the aerator. So I lost quite a few fish that day, but it did the job. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't undergunned as such, but I think if I'd had orange, I might have landed a few extra that day. But going back onto the elastic, I'd use it probably going to spring as well. You know, once we come out of lockdown, get matches back up and running, March, April time, hopefully, it'll be the perfect elastic for like fishing pellets, or, you know, just fishing like 2.5, 3 foot of water, nice and soft. You're not going to lose anything, and they're not really fighting hard. So pink hydro is like going into spring or like winter snaggy pegs. That would be my go-to area to use that. Obviously in spring, as it does warm up, orange hydro can be mint for a short kit, you know, so I would change up to a slightly heavy elastic as it progresses into spring. I wouldn't really use it for a short kit in winter because I think it'd be a bit too strong, orange, which is this one. But in terms of like once it warms up, I'd move over to orange, which is in this long kit, which I'll talk you through now. So if you're fishing like in sort of the springtime, when you sort of throwing maggots out your hand, or you're wanting to catch on the bottom, because it can be a funny time when you sort of like, you don't know whether you're shallow or if you're fishing on the bottom, whatever. But if you fish an orange hydro through a long kit, I find it's really good for if you foul looking odd fish, or it's just a bit stronger really. I don't think you want to go too heavy, like to fish like a white particularly when it's still spring, just warming up. But I wouldn't fish like a yellow or a pink, because I think you'll just like, fish will be running you around everywhere, because you still might be fishing for like 80, 100 pounds as it warms up. So I think as it warms up, fishing orange hydro, you know, through a longer kit, just give you a little bit more elastic, so you don't have to worry about bumping fish, but also a few strips on the puller and they'll be in straight away out. I remember one day I was on peg 50 at Partridge, if anyone knows it, last year on the open match, and I caught, it was like March, April time, and I caught throwing out my hand, but only on a top kit in one, because I wanted to keep the fish on the bottom, because obviously as it warms up they want to come up, but you can't really catch them shallow, so it's a bit of a funny time of year. But I just used orange hydro, nice and soft, but you can still get fishing quickly, land carp, F1s in good time. But that's my simple guide really. Fish yellow hydro when it's cold, pink hydro as it starts to warm up on snaggy pegs, and then move over to orange in a short kit if you're fishing sort of springtime or extremely snaggy pegs in winter. And yeah, that's it. If you stick to that, hopefully it might simplify things for you. Hopefully I'll see you on the bank soon in some matches, fingers crossed. I'm going to be going back to uni at some point, but until then, please subscribe and support the channel if you can, and tight lines. Thank you.